Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Good. I got to remember there are rules today.
This is, in fact, a rules-based podcast.
This is going to be restricting. This is cramping my style right now.
I'm sorry. Is there, should we loosen it up? Do you want to do a no rules? We could.
I can't change gears like that. Give me half an hour. Give me an hour. Give me a few days, and then maybe I can adjust.
Okay.
I've been preparing for this for a long time. I'm just kidding. No,
That's for 5 minutes.
This is rules, and I got to do rules.
All right.
Follow the rules.
The cocktail of the week this week is the Jasmine's Cooler, or the Jasmine's Cooler. I don't think we've done this one.
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
The finest dog I've ever seen.
It's Jasmine. It's Jasmine. The finest dog I've ever seen.
She looked nihilistic, but she was actually quite nice.
I miss that girl.
Yeah.
So this is probably called the Jasmine's Cooler, but we're going to call it the Jasmine's Cooler.
Yep.
It's gin, Campari, triple sec, lemon juice, and then you top it with club soda. So it's like fizzy. It's red. It's kind of sweet. Pretty good.
Fizzy, red, and sweet is pretty nice.
Yep.
Actually, that describes Jasmine.
She was sweet. She wasn't really fizzy.
Reddish.
She was reddish. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. 2 out of 3 is not so bad.
Yeah, I'll take it. This is going to be a dog update light and Florida Keys news heavy podcast this week.
Maybe ramblings heavy if I get my way.
Why
am I so loud?
Because you just got the thing way up by your mouth.
Maybe I'm yelling. Am I yelling?
You were yelling a little bit also.
I have volume control issues. I have volume supervision issues.
I'd move the mic a little closer to your mouth and then talk not quite as loud. Don't yell at it.
That's not a good solution.
No, that's a little too quiet.
This is all very confusing.
That's good. What you did just there is good.
A lot of males sometimes have volume control problems.
Early in the days of the pandemic, when we were both sorting out our working situation here, I would just work on the couch, which is where I always worked, and GR Dad was kind of freshly working at home in the office, which is, it's the room with the octopus rug, so it's, he's basically 12 feet from me, and GR Dad talks very loud when he's on the phone with work people.
I somehow got in my head, learned to project, right? When I'm talking in court, you project, or when you're talking on the record, you project.
Yep.
And I kind of do the same with the phone, especially when it's a tabletop or not the phone that I have on my ear.
I mean,
right?
Maybe, but you're also really loud even with headphones.
I am really loud, and it's a weird, I yell on the phone.
I think my hypothesis is that in an old school landline, you can hear yourself talking in the landline.
Yeah.
Your voice comes through the earpiece on a landline, so you can kind of hear yourself. But on a cell phone, you don't hear yourself. It doesn't put your voice into the headphones. And so you actually, on a landline, kind of get a sense of how loud you are because it's playing in your ear. Maybe. But you don't get that sense on a cell phone.
Maybe. And I think I was ruined by, tabletop phones, too, where I was, yelling at the phone.
Yeah. We had a lot of conversations where I was you don't need to talk that loud into your headset. You can just talk at a normal voice. Could you just not yell into your headset?
I know. It is kind of embarrassing. I mean, it's very much do you not know how phones work? Do I have to yell all the way to Singapore?
Then I just rented an office so I could go someplace else, and the problem was solved.
You could still hear me. Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
I'll try to modulate and not project.
So shortly before the podcast, our neighbor called me, our next door neighbor, and he was out of town and he just got back to the Keys today, and I was like, hey, and he's like, Miss Jen, is Ingo busy? And I was like, I don't think so. He's like, could you send him over here? I need some help on my dock. And I was like, okay. And so I go to get Ingo, and I was like, Ingo, neighbor needs some help. And then I hear the neighbor, I thought I'd hung up, he's still on the phone. He's like, Jen, right now. And I was like, I'm coming. So I'm like, Ingo's getting ready, and I run out the front door, and he's fishing.
Yeah.
He's on his
Off
dock,
his dock, yeah.
fishing, and he's like, I got something big on the line. I'm gonna need you to help me like net it. And I was like, okay. I am a vegetarian. I don't fish, obviously. I mean, I have fished quite a bit in my life.
I was going to say, you have some muscle memory.
Yes, but I have not fished in a long time. I feel bad for the fish, and so, but he's clearly got something big on his line, and he's trying to pull it in, and he gives me a little net, and then Ingo comes over, and like you need a bigger net for this thing, so I'm like rummage around under his house and get the big net, and he's got like a 4-foot black tip reef shark on his line.
Amazing.
That we did eventually net and bring in.
Almost as big as Vink.
I picked it up, right, because I put it in the net, and he's like, how much is it? I'm like, I think it's like 40 pounds, because I'm like, it's like 2/3 of a Vink for sure.
Yeah, I had the same reaction.
And
it was big.
It was big.
What was it? Like it was like 4 feet because it was against me. It was about 4 feet.
You were holding it up, so from its tail was at the top of your head, and its nose was at your knees.
Yeah.
So that's you're 6'2", so.
It was like 4 feet.
Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, it's not like, sharks get way bigger than that, but still.
I mean, during Shark Week, this is embarrassingly small. It's not the 14-foot colossus or whatever.
And neighbor's like, do you think, you can eat him. Should I keep it? Should I throw it back? And he was like, throw it back. Throw it back.
Like, throw it back. Throw it back.
And
what do you mean eat it? I'm not eating no. Put it back.
So he pulled the hook out of his mouth, and he goes like, what's that other thing on there? And it was somebody else's hook, because this is apparently a stupid shark who got caught twice.
But escaped twice, so maybe he's really charming.
So they took out the new hook, and they took out the old hook, and then he's like, Jen, you want to throw the shark back? And I'm like, I sure did. So I hugged that shark, gave him a hug, threw him back in, and now I was just wearing a skirt. All of my legs are covered in little like spinities from the shark.
Like skin teeth.
It feels like if you went uncovered into an attic full of fiberglass insulation. That's what it feels like.
That sounds terrible.
It's not the best.
Not the best.
But I hugged the heck out of that shark.
Well, he's got a friend now.
Yeah. He's probably like, I had this out-of-body
experience.
Where's
the third hook I can bite?
So that was interesting.
It was actually startling to see something that big that close to where we kind of hang out and then the dogs swim.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. We can all coexist in peace and love, but that thing's big enough to, tangle with Vink.
It could have given us a little chomp.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it had a lot of teeth.
Yeah, it did. So anyway, that's our shark adventure of the day.
I know. Is that ramblings or is that administrative or is that...
That's just kind of intro. We are now moving on to administrative corner.
Excellent.
Okay.
I was just waiting for that. The best.
I have 3 items on administrative corner.
This is good.
One is, so I have an Instagram account, Southernmost Skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
It is pictures of our skeletons that live in our backyard. Sometimes I bring them over to the neighbor's house and put them in their pools.
I've realized that we don't have a lot of seating opportunities outside because there are skeletons in all the chairs.
You can always take a skeleton out, just toss it on the ground.
I haven't actually thought that far, and I feel a little bit bad for the, skeletons.
Anyway, once you hit about 5,000 followers on Instagram, they generally sign you up for Reels Play, which means you can make money on your Reels. I have like 4,200 followers on Southernmost Skeleton, and I believe I am currently the biggest skeleton influencer on Instagram. But I would like to grow that to 5,000. So if you have an Instagram account, please go follow Southernmost Skeleton. I'll put a link in the show notes also.
You know what would help?
What?
A bigger skeleton.
I have a 12-foot Home Depot skeleton on order. I set an alarm for 6 a.m. because that's when they went on sale, whenever it was 2 weeks ago. Oh. And I had been up all night with the dogs. I think I finally got to bed at like 4:30. And as I was going to bed, I'm like, I'm not turning off that 6 a.m. alarm. I'm getting that damn skeleton. And 6 a.m., the alarm goes off. I pick up my phone. I order a 12-foot skeleton. And then I texted Ingo, and I was like, I got up to order this skeleton, and now I'm going back to sleep, so please don't wake me up. So it'll be here.
Where was I?
I think you were out on the porch. No, you were with the dogs.
Oh, I was breakfasting or something like that. Yeah. Was it must have been a thundery night.
I don't know.
Seems like that would have been a problem.
So anyway, there will eventually be a real big skeleton joining the crew. So that's item number 1. Item number 2 is there are staffing shortages in the Monroe County Election Supervisor office. So they've actually had to close the Marathon Supervisor of Elections office because they can't get anybody to come work there.
Ugh.
So
Wait, I could work there.
you could. So they
could work there.
I got too much to do already.
Fair enough.
So it is a salaried position. It starts at $43,000 a year. It includes paid vacation and sick leave plus insurance and retirement benefits. They're happy if you just want to work through the November election at this point. Like, they have full-time jobs that will go past that. But if you're just like fucking around and want to come live in the Keys for 4 months, you can apply to this job. And, you know, it's not like a ton of money, but you can get paid. You come down here. If you do it, because democracy matters, you can come hang out with the squad if you get hired. So go to keys-elections.org and you can apply for this job. I think there's actually several open positions.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, Ingo, if you want to take on an extra...
Do you have to live in Marathon?
thing, no, just anywhere in the Keys.
Wow.
Yeah. And there may be openings at the Key West office too, but I just know they had to close the Marathon office because they don't have enough people.
What?
I know.
That's weird.
Paid positions. They're desperate to get people. So
people just age out? What happened there?
Yeah, they had, I think, 3 people retire, and they've just had a hard time hiring people to come in. And the election supervisor is real sad.
Oh,
I know. It was sad. So we're putting out a call. If you're looking for something to do for a few months and you want to come down to the Keys or, you know, permanently work in the elections office, like that's a pretty cool job. The requirements are pretty minimal. I don't even know that you need to have a bachelor's degree. Basically, you just have to pass a background check. So there you go.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
So just put that out. If you get hired, let us know and you can come. We'll set up a celebratory meeting with the squad.
Yes, promise.
The final administrative corner, which maybe this belongs under ramblings, but I just wanted to mention. So as you know, I sing a song about the Guaco Man. He eats a taco man. Sometimes a Choco Taco man.
He does tic-tac-so man.
He does tic-taco man. So anyway, the Choco Taco is being discontinued. The Choco Taco is...
it was a real thing?
It's a real thing.
I thought it was a rhyme.
No, I know you probably thought that because I do sing about it. But I actually bought some Choco Tacos. We had them in the freezer for a while. It's like an ice cream sandwich in taco form. And I mean, tacos are sandwiches, so it counts. So it's got like a waffle cone.
Did you just try to slip that in there? This is a live debate.
Taco, sandwich. So it's like a waffle cone taco shell. And then it's got chocolate on the inside of the shell. And then ice, just like a lining of chocolate on the inside of the shell, and then ice cream. And it's a like little frozen dessert. And so it's a Choco Taco.
There already exists an ice cream sandwich. It's an ice cream sandwich.
It doesn't have like that weird, like you buy an ice cream sandwich like at the grocery store and it's got that weird like chocolate outside, I guess, allegedly cookie part, and it gets all stuck on your fingers.
It does.
This is a waffle cone taco shell. It's got like chocolate.
I think it just negates the fact that taco is a sandwich. The fact that there's a taco ice cream and a sandwich ice cream, and they're not the same. So obviously, tacos are not sandwiches.
I think that's just imperialism. Anyway, it doesn't matter because the Choco Taco has been discontinued. So
because it's already an ice cream sandwich.
So go to your grocery store and see if you can get a Choco Taco because there's not going to be any more coming.
It was not a staple for me, but it sounds actually pretty good. Vanilla ice cream.
They're not bad. Yeah, I mean it's like like ice cream novelties from the grocery store. Generally, not the highest quality ice cream. I mean, there's like Haagen-Dazs bars which are really good. Like there's some really good ones, but the normal like run of the mill stuff is like this ice cream's not the best, and this was kind of like that. But I mean, it's kind of like a drumstick.
I think I grew up on mediocre vanilla ice cream, so I have a vast tolerance for that.
Me
I
too.
think it's it may not be the best. They do a good job of making it edible, palatable, tasteful, sweet. Yeah.
All right, so that's administrative corner. Dog updates. I only have one, and it's minor, which I guess is good because it means it's a pretty okay week. Which is I took Nacho for his first paddleboard ride. So I took Guac out for his paddle. I took Hop Outs for a paddle. And I was like, let's see what happens with Nacho. And he was a little confused by the whole thing, but he did not jump off.
That's pretty good. That's better than other dogs.
Yeah, it took a while to get him to lay down. He kind of just wanted to stand up there. But once he laid down, he was like, I don't really understand like why we're moving and where we're going because our house is over there, but I will look around. So he was okay. We just did a little one to get him used to it, but I think eventually he'll be pretty good as a paddleboard pal.
Was he the one who was confronted by the snake? Was that Remy?
So we had 2 snake incidents this week.
Snake.
Maybe on the same day, maybe a day apart. One is that Nacho and I were out walking in the middle of the day, and there's a snake in the middle of the road, and Nacho perks way up every time he sees a snake. And so, yeah, there was that. And then I had taken Remy out for a walk at night, so it was dark. And I don't actually know. I think I just had a sense of snakiness because it was dark.
You may have a sense.
Like
Snake
a
sense.
sixth snake sense.
7th snake sense.
So we were coming back. We had gone for the walk and we had come back into the yard, and we were getting ready to like step from the driveway onto the like little landing under the stairs. And I stopped for some reason and I put on my flashlight, and there was a big long snake up against the edge of the little patio like slab down there. Snakes, man, they're out there. These are all Florida Keys corn snakes, so they're not venomous, and
They look cool. They have that like pretty cool pattern. I mean,
yeah,
it's
they're
not
like
obvious that they're harmless because they have very patterned skin.
Yeah, they're like red and orange. They're very bright. So yeah, 2 snake incidents. I don't think we have any other dog updates this week.
Nothing major except that they're all good boys.
And girls.
Nacho, yeah, and girls. Of course, they're the best.
Yep.
Goes without saying. But Nacho is settling in a bit, but he's still a hyper puppy.
Agree.
But he's got his patches of mellowness are getting slightly longer. I mean, it's not much, but it is something.
All right, so that's it for dog updates. Ingo, I see you ready to read your first item under ramblings.
I like to be. Is this ramblings or key?
All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 5, 6. Do you want to save that till we get to the key stuff? We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm just over prepared. You know me.
All right. So this is Florida news, but not Florida Keys news. Woman on fishing boat off Florida coast stabbed by 100-pound fish. So this is up a little bit north of Palm Beach. I think
sounds like one of those bad shark movies or Sharknado or something.
It really does. So this is from CNN. A 73-year-old woman was airlifted to a hospital after being stabbed by a 100-pound sailfish.
She's 70 pounds?
She's 73 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's fine. That's objective.
So there's a dude on the boat fishing. He's trying to reel in this sailfish. And then the sailfish began to charge at the boat and then jumped out of the water and stabbed the woman in the groin while she was standing next to the boat's center console.
Unbelievable.
So sailfish are like marlins and like swordfish. They got a big, long, pointy nose.
Seriously.
Good for stabbing, apparently.
Wow.
So it just like... It's like, oh, you're going to catch me. No, I'm going to catch you. And it's like, swim. They swim so fast, swim fast. Like, out of the water. I was watching Shark Week.
Shish kebab.
Stabbed this lady in the leg.
Groin.
So apparently, she's doing okay. She's stable.
I bet she was pretty surprised to have a fish stuck through her leg.
It said it happened so fast, she didn't even have time to react.
I bet she cursed. I would curse.
And
then I would say, nice job, fish. Reluctantly, I admire what you did there. Now, could you remove your sword from my groin?
They did not report what happened to the fish.
Yeah, who knows? Good luck, fish.
Another Florida story, not a Florida Keys story, but a Florida man story. Florida man accused of stealing vehicle, driving to Space Force Base to, quote, warn the government. This is in Brevard County, where a lot of fucked up shit happens. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office says a man was arrested Friday. Corey Johnson, 29, from Ocala, told deputies he'd taken a Ford F-150 without the owner's permission 3 days before driving it to Patrick Space Force Base. According to deputies, Johnson said he didn't know who owned the vehicle. Upon investigation...
It wasn't him.
No.
I know it wasn't him.
So they found it was stolen. Brevard County deputies say when Johnson tried to get on the base, he claimed to be warning the government about a fight happening between Chinese dragons and U.S. aliens. Johnson also told deputies he was sent by the President of the United States to give the warning and that in his mind, he had heard the president tell him to steal the vehicle.
This is classic stuff.
He was arrested. He's facing charges for grand theft of a motor vehicle.
Now, granted, Space Force sounds made up too. He's going to the Space Force base? Come on.
I have a friend who's in the Space Force.
I'm sorry for your friend.
Johnson is in custody at Brevard County Jail.
He's looking for those lizard alien whatever.
Chinese dragons and U.S. aliens.
Sorry, no lizards.
The one other, I guess this will transition us into Taste of the Keys.
Your transitions are excellent.
This is sort of a transitional story.
Speaking of transitions.
We had mentioned last week that Christmas in July was this last weekend, and we did indeed go to the Christmas in July brunch. We did not have PJs. I actually found great Christmas PJs with shorts.
I sleep in my boxers.
And you were not going to wear, I don't know if you have Christmas boxers, but you were not going to wear those out to brunch.
Not here, because they're probably warm.
But I did find Christmas PJs with shorts on Amazon, but for some reason, like our Amazon comes through like the mail, right? Like we don't have Amazon delivery drivers or a warehouse. It comes through the mail. And like Amazon deliveries now take 2 weeks to get here. Like they're all just really backed up.
It just suddenly decided everything's going to take at least 10 days. Yeah.
It happens every, couple times a year. And so even though I was like way out ahead of time, it's like, yeah, it'll take 2 weeks and then you can have them. So we went kind of in Christmassy colors. If you follow my Salt and Glitter account, there's a picture of us dressed up for it.
And really, you should.
So anyway, that was pretty good. But the one thing that I will note is that every year at Christmas, I participate in Whamageddon, which I know we've talked about. But in case you did not listen to the older podcast, Whamageddon begins on December 1st, and it goes until December 24th at like 11:59 p.m. Basically, it stops on Christmas Day. And the goal is to not hear Last Christmas by Wham. You lose if you hear it.
Yeah.
Only the original. Covers are fine. Somebody singing it is fine. Just the original, you have to avoid hearing it, which is quite a task, especially if you go into like a CVS or someplace indoors that plays music. I have won Whamageddon the last 3 years. I'm very proud of this non-accomplishment. And we were doing Christmas in July, sitting out on the porch having brunch, and it came on, and I had this instant sinking feeling in like the pit of my stomach, and then I was like, I'm good as July.
I think you're done for 2022.
Nope,
you already lost.
Extremely clear rules
Earliest
of Whamageddon.
ever loss.
No,
you're done.
because you're even in the clear on like Black Friday. Like it starts December 1st.
Oh, fair enough.
There's one time that I thought I lost because it was like November 28th, and I was like, fuck, I heard it already.
Yeah.
No, it starts on December 1st. So there you go.
That's very lawyerly rules. Good job.
All right. The rules for Whamageddon are extremely clear. There's a website.
I mean, it's a little bit like golf, whereas it's a complete honor system, and it's self-reported, and if you cheat, only you lose.
But I'm not cheating.
I'm not. I know you're
that's
not.
true.
I'm
Yes.
just saying the reason it's funny that there are so many rules is like it's just completely self-enforced, right? There's
And you
no
get
prize.
nothing.
There's no prize, right? You get nothing. But the fact that there are all these rules are, is just like you can tell people just want to have the satisfaction of having won honestly.
So here's what we have for Taste of the Keys this week. You have your printed article in front of you.
Yes, I do.
I have 2 stories of murders, 1 story of an attempted murder, and 1 story of a deer theft.
Goodness.
Shit has been going down, and we haven't even talked about mini-season yet.
What the? Boy. But let's do murders first. This is like a palate cleanser. So whenever you want your palate cleansed.
Maybe we'll do that last.
Bad stuff. Yeah.
All right. So let's do the murders first. There's 2 domestic violence murder things. Both of these guys got arrested. So one guy called 911. This is July 14th. And he reported that his girlfriend shot herself in the head with his handgun, basically committed suicide. He told the dispatcher that she shot herself in the head in the kitchen. But the deputies did not believe his story.
Because they're good deputies.
Yeah. And then they investigated and they found that the facts did not match that claim. So on Friday, while he was already locked up in the county jail on Stock Island for a week, he got charged with murdering his girlfriend, and his bond was set at $1 million. He was already in jail on a $40,000 bond for violating a no contact order that was meant to keep him away from the girlfriend.
Boy, that's a red flag.
Yeah. So she's got a restraining order. He violates it and is like, yeah, she shot herself in the head. And they're like, mm-hmm.
So they said, whatever happened, you violated the no contact rule.
Yep. So, like, they clearly knew right away, right? And so then they charged him with that.
Prime suspect anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So the guy is listed as a mechanic in the jail records. He was living in a makeshift apartment inside a warehouse in Marathon. He says the girlfriend had stayed with him sometimes and slept in a storage unit that he owned.
Ugh.
And I think this is the prosecutor, the state's attorney, assistant state's attorney, says, we went out to the scene. There's no running water, no bathroom. It's just a storage unit. So there's a couch and a bed. Nobody's obviously supposed to be living there, but they kind of made it into a living situation. And the girlfriend had called the cops a bunch of times and for domestic violence. Eventually she checked into the domestic violence shelter in the Keys, and then he shows up and says that she committed suicide, even though he had a thing. So I don't need to read the whole list of like really terrible stuff that he did to her. They've got a laundry list of all of the domestic violence that he had perpetrated. This is Gwen Filosa, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
our
Good.
friend.
Friend of the squad.
Friend of the squad, yeah. And we're gonna talk about quite a bit of Gwen's work this week. She had no suicidal tendencies or anything, no mental illness, none of those kinds of problems. So they eventually charged the guy. He was already in jail, so they didn't have to take him to jail because he was already in jail.
He was kept in jail.
So that's murder number one.
Unless you can come up with $1 million, which,
if you're
not so
living
easy.
in a storage unit, I'm guessing you're not coming up with $1 million.
Should not live in a storage unit.
Then, Keys man, covered in blood, was charged with beating his girlfriend to death, deputies say. A routine stop for a blown car tire led Key West officers to discovering a bloodied driver who had left a grisly scene where authorities say he beat his girlfriend to death.
Ugh.
I think that's enough. That's all we kind of have to say.
I just want to say deputies are proving their worth this week.
Yeah, so people being fucking crazy in the Keys.
Men.
Men. All right. Speaking of, nobody dies in this next one, but it's also fucking crazy. Keys woman, 42, lit sheets on fire while boyfriend, 24, slept.
Yeah, this is...
So let's flip
also
around
nuts.
the gender roles.
Fair enough.
A 42-year-old Marathon woman faces 2 felony charges after deputies accused her of lighting bed sheets on fire while her 24-year-old boyfriend slept on Thursday, burning his foot in the process. So this is also up in Marathon, I think. Yeah, so the two of them had an argument. The boyfriend went to bed. He woke up to the sheets being on fire, and the girlfriend saying that she was calling the police. The girlfriend seemed drunk. She admitted that she set the sheets on fire. The boyfriend apparently was okay. So,
the advice that couples always get is don't go to bed angry. If he'd followed that, he probably wouldn't have got his foot burned.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
So she faces felony charges of arson and battery, as well as misdemeanor arson charge. She was taken to jail.
It's just a little foot burning.
All right. And then the final story, 2 men arrested in the Florida Keys after deputies find an injured deer in their car. There's pictures of the deer. The pictures are not too gruesome, but the deer's like, what the fuck am I doing in this car? So these
Fair
two
question,
guys...
actually.
All right. These 2 guys are from Miami, I think. They're from up in the mainland. They're 38 and 45. So they're not like 20-year-olds. They get pulled over in Marathon. Everything happening in Marathon. So they get pulled over in Marathon, and let me just make sure I've got... Yeah. And the deputies find a key deer in the back of their car.
Good job, deputies.
On top of a bunch of stuff. The guys say they hit the deer in Marathon when they came over the 7 Mile Bridge, and then were trying to help the deer.
Help the deer.
So
by
listen.
jamming in their car.
There are no key deer in Marathon. The key deer refuge is on Big Pine Key. That's where the vast majority of the deer live. There's also like No Name Key, which is connected to Big Pine Key, but it's not on the one road. You go like up to the end of Big Pine Key, and then you go over this weird bridge, and then you're on No Name Key, and there's like not much there, which I think you'd expect from something called No Name Key. But there's a bunch of deer up there.
Yep.
That's where the vast majority of the deer are. And then like we have maybe like 5 deer on our key, and we're kind of the bottom of the range. There's a handful of them on other keys. But so like there's us, we're like the western side. We've got a couple of them.
Southern on Route 1,
Southern
right?
/ Western. And then you go towards, we're at mile marker 17. You go towards Big Pine, which is like mile marker 35. That's where most of them are. And then if you continue towards Miami out of Big Pine, there's like a couple little keys. There's Boca Chica State Park. And then there's the 7-mile bridge, which goes across 7 miles of open water.
Spoiler alert, it's 7 miles long.
7 miles long. And there's nothing in between, because otherwise the bridge wouldn't be that long. It would stop on something in between.
Also, deer don't go on the bridge.
No.
That has never happened.
There's not like a pedestrian walkway on the bridge. It's a 2-lane road with like half a shoulder on either side. And it's 7 miles long. So like even if a bridge were like, I'm going over, a deer were like, I'm going to go on the bridge. Not for 7 miles, you're fucking not.
No.
Is the deer going to swim 7 miles through the open water? Absolutely not. There are no key deer on Marathon.
Yep.
Period.
Does not happen.
These guys are fucking lying. I'm sure they hit that deer on Big Pine Key.
Yep.
And they freaked out because the key deer are endangered. And if you hit a key deer with your car, there's a $10,000 fine. And so they freaked out because they hit the deer. And so they just threw it in the back of their car.
They removed the evidence, is what they thought they were doing.
You're not even allowed to touch a key deer. You can't.
You're not allowed to feed them. You're not allowed to pet.
No.
You can look at them longingly.
That's it. So I mean, this is my hypothesis, which I have put forth on Twitter. So anyway, the deer was still alive that was in the back of their car. So it was taken to be treated. Gwen Filosa, deserving of a Pulitzer Prize, has been chasing down this story. Follow her on Twitter because she updates every day everybody that she's calling trying to get news on the deer. The Fish and Wildlife, the Key Deer Refuge, the state, they all say no comment when she asks about the deer. She apparently found the vet who treated the deer. She knows the vet, and the vet was told by the authorities that they are not allowed to comment on what happened to the deer.
Suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Suspicious.
So, we don't know if the deer made it or not. We do know that the guys were taken to jail.
I think someone has the deer at home and it's living as a pet and they don't want to be busted.
It's not us.
Oh, no comment.
All right. Is that fucking enough? We got 2 murders.
Unbelievable.
Some lady setting the sheets on fire and somebody trying to steal a damn deer. And we still haven't talked about mini season. No
comment. Oh, no, wait, that's the deer situation.
Mini season, this is the like 2-day lobster season. It started at midnight last night. Like 12:01 Wednesday morning, and it goes until 11:59 on Thursday night. It's actually been fine so far. There's a few more tourists around, but it hasn't been bad by us.
It was less dramatic than last year when it seemed like it was Grand Central Station outside of our. Well, we didn't have a dock back then. Now we have a dock.
Yep, everything has been fine so far.
Yep.
That's
right. That's right. We have plans, defenses.
All right, give us this palate cleanser.
This is a story from Key West from July 7th, so it's a little while ago.
I was going to say a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but it's a great story. Headline. I'm not going to give the headline. That gives everything away. I'm not a journalist. I can build this up from zero.
This is kind of a sad story, but there's a happy part which we're focusing on.
Well, yeah. There's 2. There's a couple that lives in Key West. Young couple, Bailey Thomason and Justin Bernson. They live in Key West. And the other day they were a couple weeks ago, they were having dinner at a bar. Mm-hmm. And their landlord called them and said, your house is on fire and we can't get your dogs out. That's a call no one wants to get.
Oh, my God. Nightmare call.
Yeah, they're terrible. So the couple works as a boat captain and a coral restoration practitioner, respectively, which I'm guessing means he works as a boat captain and she works as the coral restoration practitioner, because I can't see the respectively. That's like several paragraphs ago. So they biked back to their house, approximately 1.5 miles. And
probably the fastest they've ever biked.
That's what it says. I've never pedaled so hard, said Thomason. They could see the smoke and fire from like a mile away.
It was a huge fire.
It was a big fire.
Did we see that fire?
We saw smoke from it, I think.
I remember that fire happening. And it kind of, maybe it was just on Twitter, but there were a lot of updates.
Flames from the duplex were going 40 feet or more in the air. There were 2 fire trucks and many firefighters dousing the flames. They have 2 dogs, Sadie and Jib. Sadie is a North Carolina rescue. She's about 5 years old. And Bailey Thomason says, you hear people talk about their soul dogs, and Sadie is definitely mine. She's been my best friend for the last few years.
So nice.
And then Jib is sort of a pit bully looking one, is a rescue from the Florida Keys SPCA in Key West. He's a true conch.
Yep.
He's 3 to 4 years old, because he's a rescue, and he's a hugger. He won't let go. And she says his smile will get you every time. So they get there, and there's 2 fire trucks. There's 40-foot flames. And the dude, Justin Burnson, just ran in to get his dogs. He's like, I don't care. I'm running in.
House on fire? Fuck it.
He didn't care.
Yep.
And he was lucky that the room where Jib's dog crate was and the bedroom where Sadie was too was the last on the entirety property to burst into flames. Jib was just standing there, ears just so excited to see me, Benson said. Benson also knew that Sadie would be hiding nearby, and she was. That was nearly half an hour after the fire started. So he grabbed Jib and called Sadie's name. She emerged, and a firefighter grabbed her. Everyone got out, and EMTs put Benson and both dogs on oxygen. And they were both still alert, and outside of bloodshot eyes have made an amazing recovery, said Benson about Sadie and Jib. So it was just very brave for him to just run in, get the dogs, and successfully get them. So the pair stayed watching for several hours, watching everything they owned go up in flames. The biggest loss was Benson's inventory for his apparel company, Wanderlust Hats, because everyone in the Keys has a side gig.
Oh, we sure do.
The firefighters used an unprecedented amount of water, spraying from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. the next day to make sure it didn't reignite. So they said, we lost everything except, the clothes we had on and the 2 dogs. The Keys community countered the tragedy with support, kindness, and donations. Having just moved from the Upper Keys in January, the couple didn't know many people. But Key West businesses 22 & Co. and Mary Ellen's hosted charity bingos and vibrator races for their benefit. And the owner of Captain's Corner, where Benson works, gave them a temporary place to stay. So it's very nice. They also have a GoFundMe.
The status of their GoFundMe, they had a $20,000 goal, and they have raised $20,100.
That's great.
Yep, we donated to them.
But we did not enter the vibrator races.
I did, if I had known about them, we totally would have gone.
You just never know who to bet on. Anyway, that's a great Key story. The boyfriend goes in there and catches and gets the 2 dogs out of the burning fire, and everyone's fine.
Yep.
And they may have lost their clothes, but they have their dogs.
Yep. And they're, people have been generous, and they're going to get their stuff back.
Jib and Sadie. Of course, we would do the same thing.
Of course we would. All right, Ingo, the 2 remaining items are German Word of the Week and then Ingo Corner. So the podcast is now yours.
Wait, I have a corner?
Ingo Corner is for you to say all the stuff that you didn't say. It's the Ingo wrap up
How
at the end.
good the dogs are?
So the people who just want it to be done can just skip because we're done with all the updates.
That's when you're more pissed off at me. I think I'm fine today. German word would be zottelig. Zottelig.
Spell it.
Zottelig.
Zottelig.
Zottelig. And it's not onomatopoeia, right? But it kind of is a messy word to describe it being shaggy or woolly.
Mm-hmm.
Like a zotteliger Hund is a shaggy dog.
Yeah. Would you say St. Patrick was zottelig?
Zottelig? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Zottelig.
He was shaggy, fluffy, fantastic.
He was zottelig. Zottelig und fantastisch.
Shaggy, fluffy, fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know what the word for fluffy would be. Flauschig. Zottelig, flauschig und fantastisch.
I'd have to put that to a different tune.
Well, yeah, I mean, German is hard to synchronize.
Somebody, one of our followers had tweeted that they wanted me to listen to this song. So it looks like Layla in English. Lila in German.
Oh my goodness.
DJ Robin is the artist.
It's like a party anthem.
Yeah, it's like it's been on the top of the charts for a long time in Germany. And they wanted me to do a blind listen, which I did. I recorded it, except like from underneath, and it's like the most unflattering video of me ever, which is why I didn't post it. I love this song so much, as long as I pretend I don't know the words, because it's basically about a guy who owns a brothel talking about this hot girl that works at the brothel, and then everybody's singing about how great she is. So that's kind of it. It's like, I own a brothel, and this girl who works here is like hot, and everybody's like, she's totally hot. And that's it. Then it stops.
And then it repeats. Yeah, and it's just like party.
And then it's like, I went to the brothel and I looked, and like she was super hot.
We love her.
And then Lila, she's hot.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's the entirety of the song.
That's about right.
But
it's problematic, but it's a banger of a song.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's like very like mid to late 90s techno, like or party dance music.
Party dance. It's not techno in the techno sense.
No. Yeah. It's so fun. I was like, all right, well, this is my favorite song now.
It is like Oktoberfest beer hall music, or anywhere where you have a tent full of drunk people, they're gonna sing this Lila from now on.
It's really fun. I'm gonna see if I can. I don't know if I can play it where we can like listen to it on the podcast. I don't know if the sound works.
That sounds a little bit more techno than the song.
We can hear that just in our headphones. Hang on a second. Let me pause this here. Sie ist schöne junge Geiler. La 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 la. We'll have to see how that comes through in the podcast. That's a banger of a song. I was playing it and I was very instantly flashed back to some specific parties I went to in college, even though that it's like 20 years later.
This is the stuff they play in like the bars in like Mallorca, where all the Germans are like la 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 la. Or probably singing at soccer games now too.
Well, we'll see. Right, there's going to be some Germans at the Euro Cup, even though it's in England.
If you're looking for something to watch this weekend, there's the finals of the Euro Cup, Germany, England. I think it's on Sunday.
Yeah.
Playing in London, so it'll probably be earlier here, later there.
Yep. How do you root for Germany in a way that doesn't come off as being a Nazi?
Well, I say I barrack for them, but how do I wait? What now?
Like you can't.
It's all fine since 2006.
What does that mean?
There was the 2006 World Cup, in which Germany did pretty well, and it became socially acceptable to fly German flags again.
Oh, interesting.
The summer of love. It was like, and they decided that it was okay to be patriotic without being nationalistic.
There's a real kind of fine line I feel like it's walking. Like you can't be Deutschland über alles, right?
No. But you can be a soccer fan and enjoy supporting your team and love your players.
But like, what's the chant that you can do?
Oh,
like
I don't know. Is
there like a German equivalent of like USA?
No,
USA.
It's ole 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 ole.
I mean, everybody does that.
Yeah, well. There you go.
I mean, I guess that's how you do it safely.
It unites everyone. I do not know that there's a Germany chant. There might be. I haven't, been in German stands. And who knows what it is for the Euro women's games. So
Okay.
yeah.
Great. All right. So that's our German word of the week. Ingo Corner, any final thoughts you want to share? You are absolutely welcome to not share any here, but this is your chance. You're like looking around trying to find stuff.
I had something and I forgot it, but
Yep.
that's okay. I can.
I mean, I can pause and give you a minute.
All right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. I discovered that I still miss voodoo a lot, and that it's somewhat triggered by Nacho's somewhat Voods-like behavior.
Yeah.
He kind of likes to mess stuff up.
He's got a lot of food in him.
He likes to look for stuff to mess up. He hasn't discovered toilet paper yet, but, he clearly is on the path to that. Every time I open the dryer, Nacho appears behind me to look for those dryer balls or to mess with stuff. And he's definitely always he roams the halls looking for things that aren't nailed down.
He also barks like Voods with his mouth open. He opens his mouth.
Yeah. And keeps it open.
Keeps it open and barks with it open. Ah! Ow!
Yeah, and the weird drinking is kind of what Voods would have done too if he hadn't learned to drink first.
It's in the Voods spirit.
It's just like, I'm not even going to bother closing my mouth or whatever. I'm just putting my whole end underwater.
The person who runs the Voods Foods fan account, sent us a letter today that we were reading, and we both started crying.
Yeah, it's
it's
weird.
There's nothing wrong with the letter. We were just like, fuck, we miss that dog so much.
Yeah, it still hasn't completely sunk in that he's not just boodling around downstairs right now.
I think that I miss him more because of that, because it feels like he should be here and he's not here.
Yeah, but even when he was here, he was downstairs a lot, not coming in. No.
Yeah. And it's oh, we got to go get him.
Yeah.
And then there's no him to go get.
That's exactly right. He's in the back of the car still because he wouldn't ooze out.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not.
Man, do I miss that dog.
So we miss him. He had an oversized influence on the world. Good job, Voods. Hope you're happy up there.
I was thinking today, how much I miss him, but also a thing that is a kind of theme with me, which is I remember all of the good and quirky and weird parts about him, and not the fact that I spent most of my time on edge waiting for him to have a seizure. There was a lot of very stressful stuff, and also that he would eat anything that was below shoulder height in the house.
Nacho is enjoying a world without Voods, which means Nacho can have chew toys occasionally because
the number of
because
toys
they
that we
won't
can
be
have
digested.
now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stress with Voods. I don't remember any of that part. I just remember his
I don't
cute
remember
little face.
All the reasons we were cursing him all the time because he was such a pain. We didn't sleep very well because he was always
every night.
We were on edge, and he would make weird noises.
He'd also get up at 3 a.m.
and go, ow,
and be
ow.
Oh my God.
I've decided I need a distraction.
That dog.
Yeah.
Speaking of Voods,
What a transition. What a great transition.
This is Ingo's Corner, and I'm co-opting it.
It's okay.
The artwork is finished for the Voods Nude Challenge, 5K, 6-hour, and short walk, lay down, refuse to continue races. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get that posted. I just got the final
Wait, are
artwork
people going to actually sign up for this to lie down and refuse to continue?
I predict
the
that
Nerd Challenge?
The short walk, lay down, refuse to continue distance will be the most popular of the races.
I can't pick up everyone. It's just beyond. I'm just a man. I'm just a
one
man.
Yes, I think that will be the most popular of the races. So we're gonna put the little logo on merch. We're just gonna put it up on Redbubble, so you can get a running shirt, you can get a water bottle, whatever, with it on there. Optional, right? You can just order from Redbubble whatever you want. But we are gonna have medals. So basically when you sign up for the race, we'll probably have an option with no medal that'll be $10. And so we'll have a thing where you can print yourself a bib off the internet and submit your time. And then I was looking at the prices. It'll probably be $35 to sign up and get a medal shipped to you. So you still get to submit your time, and you can print off the bib on the internet, and then part of that $35 will go towards the Golden Ratio Foundation. Part of it will go towards postage and shipping and metal costs and all of that kind of stuff. So that's the tentative plan. I'm going to pull all the details together, and hopefully tomorrow, Thursday, we'll have the details up, and you can see this artwork. I'm looking at it, and it's so cute. It's got like cartoon Voods, and it totally looks
good
like
thing
it.
I'm already a Redbubble power user. This will be good.
You don't have to buy them. I'll get whatever merch you want.
I want to enter this race. It's going to be awesome. The merch is great.
You can do it for free.
Nah, get out of here. It all comes back into our pocket. The more I give them, the more we make. We'll be rich. I tell you, we'll be rich. I'm investing everything in Voods.
We did, we by you, by we I mean you, bought a Mega Millions ticket, so we may have $1 billion
We may have
$1
billion by, what, Saturday night is the drawing or something?
I think it's Friday.
Oh, we better stay on top of that. Yeah, I'm starting to spend the money already because I think we're going to win.
$1 billion. If we win $1 billion, we'll close down the Golden Ratio Foundation.
I'm not a stupid person, but every time I buy a lottery ticket, I expect to win, and I'm honestly disappointed when I get like no numbers.
We never get any numbers.
How can I get no numbers? I mean, there's not that many numbers, and it looks like there's a lot on that page, and like nothing matches. What is going on?
How do we have like 10 lines and win $0? Like we don't even get a $2 line. It's terrible.
I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm like also lightning proof or something. Like somehow this beating the odds should work both ways.
Did I tell you I almost got struck by lightning once?
No, and I would like to hear this story.
I was outside in a lightning storm.
Why?
I don't.
Were you flying a kite with a key attached? Because I've heard that's a thing.
I was not.
Come on.
But I was kind of out in this field, and lightning struck the ground approximately 5 feet away from me.
Yikes. Was it really loud?
It was the loudest thing I'd ever heard in my whole life, but more importantly, like the entire world went white. Like it was a brightness like I have never experienced. My eyes kind of burned out from it. It was so loud and so bright.
Wow.
And kind of hot feeling, which is not super surprising. I felt kind of, before it happened, I felt like all of the hairs on my arm stand up. Like
God,
I felt
that's
tingling.
What they say. You're getting you're getting all the electrons.
Yeah, but I didn't get zapped. Like I didn't feel like it felt kind of tingly beforehand.
Oh my God.
But
you should have told me this. We should have to nurture your superpower.
There's like a black spot on the ground where it hit.
You have superpower now. We just have to figure out what it is. Do you hear really? You smell really well, which is kind of a waste.
I can smell a lot of stuff.
That may be a dumb superpower. I mean, that's like the least. Not a lot of movies about the super smelling, superhero. Oh well. Well, I'm glad you didn't get blown up.
Me too. One of my colleagues, like he had posted on Facebook a couple weeks ago that a similar thing happened to him, like a couple weeks ago. He's like, I was just outside and like I almost got hit by lightning, like for real almost. And I was like, everything you just said, like that happened to me too. Like I'm really glad
feel
you're
it beforehand a little bit.
I felt like all of a sudden, like all my bits stood up.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but it didn't hit me
immediate, like not very long. I mean, you didn't have much time to think about it.
1 second maybe.
Okay,
yeah, just like I was like, what's going on with me? And then it was like everything was like,
yeesh.
My
wow.
eyes were burned out and my ears were burned out and there's literally grass burned out in front of me. It was super bright and loud and smelled weird.
I think you might have a
hot
superpower that we don't know about besides the smell.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get hit.
Could just be the smell, but that's a waste. Get zapped again and see if you can get like super vision or something.
I mean, that'd be
super speed. You have super endurance. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, all right. I mean, that's fine.
Nah. We got to look more deeply for the power.
All right. Do you have anything else for Ingo Corner? I'm sorry I kind of co-opted Ingo Corner, but this is a real weird podcast. No dog updates and all kinds of weird stuff.
Co-opted. You're the boss. No, I got nothing. They're all really good dogs. I mean, they're a weird dynamic compared to what we had before, but we've always had weird dynamics for the last, since we had the 4.
Mm-hmm.
We just add crazies.
Yeah. Just a variety, a wide, rich tapestry of wild dogs.
Weird dogs.
All right, everyone. Well, until next week, don't light anybody's sheets on fire. Slava Ukraini.
Don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Good advice, Ingo.
I know.
Bye.
Bye.